All right. Well, everyone.
So,
all right, guys.
Are you intrigued by the new BRs?
Oh, yeah, I am. Well, everyone who just tuned in. Got another podcast episode coming along, and probably the last one I'm going to be doing on War Thunder for a while here. Because, unless you've been sleeping under a rock, we've had new battle rating changes, and I actually want to hang myself for the first time in a long time. It's not even funny how ungodly dog shit the BR changes are. Now, I'm going to drag some stuff on screen here. I'm going to drag the changes. Should be able to see them momentarily if I've got everything sorted out. Where is it? No. Okay,
no, there were some changes from the last time that they put these up. For one, the German patent isn't going to 6.7 anymore, which is good. The T80B isn't going down to 9.7 either. It's going to stay at 10.0.
Kind of stuff.
And the T44-100, I think, is also staying at the BR it's currently at the moment. But the good news stops there because they've gotten worse.
So what happened? So what happened was we had the BR changes from the other day. I made a meme, and then I'm like, hey, everyone's basically saying this is really stupid. Don't make this worse, and they literally made it worse in every way, shape, or form. Basically, did the complete 180 about what 90% of the community has been saying, minus the Reddit because they can be a little autistic sometimes, but. It got even worse, and we'll go into it into a minute. But one of you had something to say. I heard someone pipe up for a second there.
I didn't really have anything to say other than
you missed some good news. The F-84 is going
we'll get
down.
into it because a lot of this is really fucking stupid.
I'm just gonna go down for the record. I'm a big supporter.
Also, before I forget, here with us today, we've got the Gobnik Czar, we've got Heat Seeker, and we also have our boy Creamy, and we have Ash, who is probably doing exactly what his profile picture is on Discord. It's literally a dude with like a cone over his head, like an aerodynamic cone.
By the way.
That is actually a picture of him. Yeah, he just wants to shut away from the world and not look at this shit anymore. And
it's not a matter of quitting; it's a matter of just what the fuck.
Yeah, just like I was at work and a guy calls on the radio, and I'm talking to the pilot or whatever. I'm like, oh, I gotta go out and spray. I'm like, this is the last plane of the day. I'm gonna come home. I'm gonna record some CDK stuff. I look down on my phone and someone goes J32 at 9.3, and I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then I saw the BR changes. My mood is just complete 180. It is ridiculous.
I guess it's the old age saying, right? You know, they keep changing these things and avoiding the actual issue. If they just added a competitive vehicle for every nation, they'd have a steady, fast BR to stick to. But no, you can't have nice things. And because the by the way they do it with their algorithm, two people at Gaijin work tirelessly on an algorithm-based system that defines what the BRs, the repair costs, and everything else is, which I think is a little extreme considering how many vehicles there are in the game. And I believe Smen was like, "No,
so
we can't balance at top tier." It's like
you
can.
I hate to call him out because I don't really want to call him out because he's basically just the punching bag. Some of what he says is not him. I feel it is someone higher than him, and I feel bad for him. But he basically told us just a little while ago that according to their statistics that they have, they don't think that they can go higher in battle rating because their numbers show that it wouldn't be able to support it. And I'm like, maybe because you keep making it so bad and it gets worse and worse every time that less and less people are playing at that tier. And maybe if you did the opposite, which is what every single forum post, every Reddit post, every Discord post that has anything to do with the topic of battle rating says, go the other fucking direction, stop going down to 1.0, go up to like 11.0 or possibly even 12.0, but that's a bit too much.
Expand it beyond that. But yeah, it's Smin said, because of all the facts show the current population can't support it. It's like, no, that's just false. The reason why the player base can't support it is because there's not as many people playing in the first place.
And they attribute it to such and such reason when we all know it's clearly, if people, look, good example is the T72 terms, right? T72 terms is basically using the zoom, gunsight, and FOV of the Ariete, which is at 10.7. It has a T72 chassis, which is upgraded with some ERA, some Contact 1, which, because of Gaijin's wonderful volumetric changes, has actually made that thing have an even better increased armor protection than the normal T72A. And it's also using a round that they originally said it wasn't going to have, and then they gave it to it in like a month. And
if I understand, it physically can't load it.
Something to that effect, but it's this vehicle that is practically a 10.0 10.3, and it's a $50 9.7 premium that is clubbing tanks a whole battle rating lower that are like 20, 30 years. Of course, it's a more modern upgrade. 20, 30, 40 years before its time. So they'll look at what their statistics are showing them and be like, a lot of people aren't playing these vehicles well, or this, that, or that. They'll look at a reason and they won't extrapolate or go beyond what they see. That what it sounds like is the quality control at Gaijin is as to the T and like punching numbers in as like an algorithm. Like there seems to be no human thought. It's just all CPU processing.
It's all based on what's played. So if they change a vehicle to the point where it's not playable or it's up tiered, nobody will play the vehicle. So those stats on those vehicles won't change. It'll only be the vehicles that are then played the most. So it feeds this meta cycle, right? Because queue times aren't the only consideration for player-based retention, right? Making a player feel as if they're unfairly put into situations where they can't complete is really just encourages them to play other BRs or not really play the game. So a decompression of top tier might just be that, to be more balanced and encourage more people to play it. Just increase queue times with the same player count. I just don't understand their reasoning here. Obviously, all automated based, and it's based on the numbers. You're supposed to make gameplay informed decisions, not numbers decisions. That's rule one of game design. If you make game design choices on that, it's no wonder why people don't go play lower tiers, because the grind is there, right? So there's a whole heap of different issues that you can extrapolate from this one thing. If they're saying, which they did say in a content creator briefing a few 6 months ago with Mike and Oxy, they said that the average player base is at rank 5 and 6, but they only play for 40 minutes a day. What does that tell you about the game?
It tells you that most people are at that tier, either with premium or they're veterans, and they can't stand the fact that they've been playing the same game for 8 years, and they want to see, some sort of gameplay change. I mean, it's all there. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Just because content creators have special privileges doesn't mean that they don't play the game just like everyone else. Like, I was just saying to Smith, I'm like, this isn't just like a content creator thing. This is like a content creator is telling you something that someone told them, and someone told them, like a group of people, or like a whole Discord, because most content creators have their own Discord. It's like your entire community. Like, I only have almost 2,500 subs, but like, if Oddboz, who has I don't know how many, like 50,000 or something subscribers, if he has 50,000 subscribers and a couple thousand Discord members, and he's getting direct feedback in comments from his Discord, and which is even more direct than like YouTube comments, and then he goes and he puts forward something, that's not Oddboz wanting that. That could be like 10,000 people wanting something similar within that range. It's like the community feedback, while at times people do disagree and stuff can be contradicting, when everyone is unanimously saying this is bad, you don't immediately go, but our grid says this. So, no, your grid says this, but literally everyone who's consuming your game is saying the other thing. It's like beyond baffling to me, and this is the first time I've ever personally seen a huge shitstorm in the CC Discord. But when 4 or 5 people basically, again, sorry Smith for you being a punching bag, basically just say we're not buying the bullshit anymore, and it's like, that's to me that's pretty bad. When people are like, yeah, we're done tolerating the bullshit. I mean, people have seen it for a while, but
I mean, we've been sitting here as content creators for years. Well, in my case particularly, I've watched a lot of the other creators get a bit bigger and so on and so forth, and then I've slowly developed my own channel to a point. But the bigger issue is if even if we're getting that feedback from our own communities, right? There's not much they're going to do about it, is it? There's not much you can do. If every single... You couldn't even put 10 content creators in the same room and say, listen, this is what needs to be changed. You couldn't, because there's that many fucking issues with the game as is. But the BR system is something that everyone agrees on, generally speaking. And when you piss off enough people, it's understandable why there's so many creators that are just going, fuck you, at the moment. Because that's generally how we feel.
It was the same thing with the parts and FPE problem. People disagreed on maybe the method, but everyone generally agreed on the problem. And then it kind of worked out, and they kind of pleased both sides. Like, there were people saying, no, it's kind of fine as is, or there's other people saying, it should be changed. Like, it should be like a modification, saying like World of Tanks or Armored Warfare and stuff like that. So they kind of bridge the gap with both sides of the argument. And it's just amazing to me that I mean, I don't know we're only in the first, few hours of this, but I'm going to be curious what other content creators have to say on this, because I mean, this is just, I mean, battle rating changes have always been a meme. A lot of things that Gaijin does in War Thunder has been a meme. And to some extent, it was always a little bit of a joke, but this is like genuinely the first time, unironically saying that I think that a battle rating change has been so ungodly bad that I've wanted to uninstall War Thunder. So that's pretty bad, but enough of our little opening rant. I'm going to get to some of the battle rating changes for those of you who haven't seen it. So again, as Gomnick stated, the M48A2C and the T44-100 are going to stay at their respective battle ratings. They're not going to decrease from what it says here. So it says the BR remains as current. The battle rating of other tanks is decreasing in order to form a more effective set in our B. Blah, 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 blah. And these two tanks suffer from a complete meta shift. Like, you're used to the T-34s where they're kind of mediocre, but like they still do pretty good. And then you're going to something that's a little bit more heavily armored, but is also facing a completely new meta, if you will, like with more chemical ammunition and stuff like that. And honestly, the T-44-100 isn't even as good as an example as the German M48. You literally have people that are playing World War II vehicles. They're playing Tigers. They're angling. They're playing like World War II tanks. And then their next tank in the line, because they removed the mouse in the Tiger 105, is an M48, which shouldn't be played like a Tiger at all. So the statistics were just so garbage. The Americans are used to the Pattons and the Pershings, which are all virtually the same as the M48, So there's problems there. There are loopholes in their statistics that they, even though they say we have all of this shit, they still can't get past. And it's clear as day to everyone that there's huge flaws. So thankfully, those two vehicles are going to stay where they are. And then they made something with like a comparative opponents of it. I don't even give a shit. They claim that the pretty much British, or I don't know. It's fucking stupid. I don't even want to look at that. But we're going to get to the tables here. So we're going to start out with aircraft. I know Ash isn't really much of a tanker, so we'll do aircraft, and he'll probably have more of an opinion on it than I do because I don't play Araby too much. But let's see. So the F-84s are going down to 8.3, which is pretty good because that was a mediocre tank. That's probably one of the best changes, actually. Let's see. The F-3H Demon is going to 9.7, even though it was totally fine at 9.3, which was weird. But this is the icing on the cake. So we all know how they were going to down tier the MiG-19s to 9.7. They tacked on a few more. The first Su-7 is going down to 9.3, so it's at the same battle rating as the F-3H. The Su-7 BKL is going down to 9.7. The J-32 is going down to 9.7, which I was always kind of wanting it to be, but and it should be fine considering all the other 9.7s. The YS finally went down to 9.7, but considering that all of this shit just went down to 9.7, it just made 9.3 and definitely in a full up tier 8.3 even worse. So I just can't believe that they even went through with this, but I don't know. If you have something to say, go right ahead, Ash, or Gobnik, because he plays a lot of MiGs.
No, I don't really see because the MiG-19, it's not bad. It's really not a bad aircraft. I enjoy flying it a lot, actually. And
I'm sorry, I wasn't here. What are we talking about?
The
we're
jets.
talking about jets. And
Okay.
I will admit that sometimes it does struggle at the 10.0 BR, but that doesn't mean it should have gone down. What they should have done is expanded the BR bracket so that it wouldn't have to face, AIM-9Js, F-4 Phantoms with those crazy missiles or Mirages with Magics. Because it's really hard to dodge those. You can do it, but it's really difficult to dodge stuff like that.
To me, every single 9.7 jet currently and the ones that are proposed to go down to 9.7 are all 10.0, 10.3 aircraft. But the problem is they jumped way over like the 1960s in air combat and went straight to the Phantoms, like late Phantoms and shit.
We went from 1950s to like the late 60s and 70s with the Phantom when that happened. We jumped like 2 decades
within one update, and they did that with tanks too, with the T-64A and the KPZ and MBT. And like this is the thing, so. Smin said, and this is for tanks though, but not for aircraft, but like it kind of applies to aircraft definitely even more. He said that we don't have enough vehicles at the high tier according to what they see in their information / statistic gathering to warrant like an 11.0 or 11.3 battle rating. And I'm like, okay, 10.7 already has enough for like not even a minute in waiting and getting a game. Phantoms, MiG-21
it's not about
Bisses.
having enough vehicles. It's not about that. It's about the BR spread and about the performance difference of vehicles. Like, for example, the F4E and the F4C. You have such a massive amount of performance difference.
Flares, engines.
Flares, the AIM-9Js, the Sparrow E models, 15 Gs of pull. That's insane for a 10.7.
0.4 difference.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
like I could see the F4C being like the top against like what a lot of these jets like the Su-7 and the MiG-19 and stuff, because it's way down by a gun pod and it has slightly weaker missiles, right? The F4C at a minimum or whatever could be like 11.0, right? But like all of these 19 like late 50s 60s supersonics should all be like 10.7. These should be the 10.7s, and like the late Phantoms and the BIS and shit, those should all be like 11.7 or 12.0 possibly. And they say they won't have enough to support that, but it's like you have literally, I'm looking at a list of aircraft from different countries that can all queue up, and you would have maybe at the maximum 2 minutes queue time in late areas. So for aircraft, it's not that big of an issue. For tanks, I can kind of see it because it's like the Japanese, but the Japanese IRL just lack a lot of really, really modern shit that Gaijin has information to. So the Japanese are kind of shit out of luck, right? But for AirRB, there is no excuse for like a possible even 12.0 battle rating. All of these things going down to 9.7, they're super exceeding in performance subsonics like the YS. The J-32 can go supersonic to some extent, but like the Jaguar and shit, it's just ridiculous. I don't fucking know. They were all fine at 10.0. It wasn't these aircraft that were the problem. It was the ones above them. It's generational power creep. I mean, it kind of happened IRL, but we have a game. We have the ability to play with that. I don't know. It just bothers me. And I know that Ash can probably attest to this, but it is very funny sometimes how conveniently they'll pick and choose excuses. Like one
day it's player time or queue match, queue times, or another time it will be there's not enough vehicle diversity, or another time it's just there's not enough players, or there's not enough, whatever. There's always an excuse for their fucking reasoning, and it just drives me up the wall, really.
And they have the most players I think I've ever seen, like 100,000 in prime
exactly.
time.
Like last year alone was probably the biggest year for War Thunder. They're just shooting themselves in their own foot by backtracking, and I guess these are subject to change, but fucking. If they actually played their own game and actually like looked at the statistics in details and focused on the vehicles that weren't getting vehicle changes and changed them, maybe that'd be a better option.
But even then, it's like, how did we get to the point where these are subject to change? Like that, you know what I'm saying? There's a missing step in the quality control over at Gaijin.
100%. And there has been for some years.
A really big, important step, it seems like, because these battle rating changes are just ridiculous.
Like, who in their right mind?
The J6 especially pisses me a little off just because of the fact that it still retains a lead indicator with the radar.
So the J6A was added, I believe, a patch.
Don't know that, but it still has a lead indicator.
Was it added a mini patch after? It wasn't added in Supersonic, if I remember.
It was added like a miniature patch after the Supersonics.
So
the MiG-19 apparently still also had a lead indicator. The minute they added that,
they fixed the PT.
The
so the MiG-19 PT had a lead indicator, and they removed it because it wasn't supposed to have one, and it was really overpowered. The T2K still kept its because of the pulse dot, whatever. But the J6A is identical to the PT, and it keeps the lead indicator, and it's locked in this new tree that is basically a repeat. So fuck you for playing Russia, fuck you for playing America or Germany or Italy, because China gets the best F-104. It gets flares and AIM-9, or better AIM-9s if I can recall correctly.
I'd also argue that China in general is a terrible air tree to play at all. Like, they don't have anything competitive. You could say it's the best, but in reality, they
top
don't.
Tier.
They don't really get anything that's really out there.
Yeah.
Performance-wise, it's basically
doesn't get flares,
one difference. Maybe like an extra set of flares, or an extra.
Well, the German
missile.
104G does, so I assume the Chinese one
would
have gotten it. But whatever. All right, that was a misstep by me. But all right, I'm gonna go to the tank ones now. So we've got some really goofy ones. So the EBR, because I know everyone hates the R3 T20, and yes, its win rate is shit, but again, the R3 can harass tanks. The EBR can outright lull pen tanks at its battle rating, okay? Like, the EBR can't get 50 called as easy as an R3 can, okay? You know, I understand the stabilizer and stuff, and I still think the R3 should go up in battle rating. I'm not saying that it shouldn't. However, the EBR going up to 5.3 was, like, a really good change, in my opinion, and one of the only good ones. Because, like, holy shit.
As far as regarding tanks is concerned, anyways, I'm kind of glad the J32 and the YS went down to the BRs they were supposed to be.
Because they're using AIM-9Bs, they don't have flares, and they're basically subsonic. One is literally incapable of reaching supersonic in a dive. The other one can, and they're facing 20, 30G missiles. So, but let's see.
Let me speak on this really quick. I just wanted to get this out of my mind before I forget about it.
Okay.
But I just want to speak on the SU7s, if you don't mind.
Go for it.
SU7s, the B, I think it was fine at 9.7. I thought it was perfectly fine. The BKL, however, was getting its shit stomped at 10.0 because it fought nothing but Phantoms and Bisses and SMTs and all that
They're
stuff.
literally identical. One just gets more pylons.
I know that, and it just baffled me that. And in real life, it had missiles. I'm unsure what kind of missiles that it could carry, but it did. But it didn't get those. So that shouldn't warrant it being
the missiles it did
higher just because 2 pylons.
The missiles it did get were R60Ms, which are the all aspect R60s, which they haven't put on fixed wings yet. So that's kind of why they cut the SU7.
They don't have them. It literally doesn't warrant it, and it didn't make any sense. I think it's a good change that they put it down to 9.7. I think that's a good thing. No, the B model
the BKL he's talking about.
The BKL is going to 9.7, which I think is a good thing.
No, it's going to 9.3.
No, the first one is going to 9.3. The BKL is going to 9.7.
No, look again. Both of them are going to 9.3.
Wait,
yeah,
do I have to
did
they just hot edit it?
No, that's been like that.
I'm looking at it right now.
No,
it says
refresh it, Godmick.
9.3.
Refresh it. It says 9.7. If you refresh it, it should be.
It looks like I had an old document. Yeah.
Yeah. Because by the way, mid argument, someone was bringing up the J32 or something in the Jaguar mid argument, and he hot swapped it mid argument. He fucking submitted a picture, and someone submitted theirs where it said 9.3. So, man. Oh, fucking
change has never been more true, has it?
Damage control.
Oh my gosh.
The IS-3 going down to 7.0. Holy fuck! I don't know how I feel about that.
God. Oh god.
See, the thing is, the tanks and the airplanes did not need to go down. Everything needed to go up. It like.
No, actually, I just want to mention.
You've been yelling for decompression for years.
But it's like, why won't they? I don't get it. Like, is it? Like Arrow said to me one time, he said, you can't attribute Gaijin's stupidity to greed, to just greed or just ignorance. It's a bit of both, but there's like a secret ingredient.
The reason why everyone's so fucking up in arms is because, you know, we put up with hot trash and the Harrier and everything like that. So, and EBRs and shit like that. So I mean, this is just kind of like what the hell?
Like I had faith
starting 2021 like this, especially after the fake claims of terrorism and all sorts of shit. It's like, come on.
Yeah, like I had good faith in Gaijin. I'm like, I hope the engine rework allows them to do something, but I only see there being two things: either Gaijin listens to the community and changes battle ratings, which would fix a major issue and allow us to get past this and focus on more gameplay, like bugs and shit, or they literally rebuild the game from the ground up. Like, I think, did they do that with Anthem? I can't remember what game I'm thinking of. They literally...
They did, but they also took the game down. Whereas they can't afford to take War Thunder down because it makes them too much money. Yeah,
but literally all they would have to do is just because they've got like Cuisine Royale, they've got other games to monetize off of, and it's like, they have
War Thunder
to.
is their cash cow. And
Exactly.
I'll tell you why. That T-72 you mentioned earlier was sold more than the Harrier did in the previous patch.
Probably around the time of the
K50.
Now, apparently they earned $1.2 million, according to unknown source, from the T-72 itself.
I did the math on the K50. I could only imagine like what they did in the
I
K50.
pre-ordered that.
I did
I
a theoretical. I was like, if 500 people pay $50, that's like fucking what, 5,000, whatever, $50,000. It's a shit ton of money. Is my point. So yeah. So it's just insane.
But apparently they made quite a bit of money during new power update, like a shit ton.
Yeah, it's just that they so have the fucking money to be able to rebuild this game from the ground up.
Well, they're trying to do that. Instead, they're a publisher now, so they're focusing on their other titles. They're using War Thunder as a cash cow to finance their other projects, which won't get them very far. Because the player bases are basically non-existent in their other games.
It's going to sweep the rug out.
Star Conflict is basically dead because they've over-monetized it and increased the grind to
I played that for a week. That was bad. That was like 5 years ago or whatever the fuck when
Enlisted is okay, but it's got miles to go before it becomes anything worthy of an actual AAA game, or should I say
to beat Squad, or sorry, not Squad, Hell Let Loose and Proscriptum, which are basically
there are a few other games they're developing.
Big competition.
They've also got Crossout, that weird build-a-thon truck game thing.
That was fun. Then they kind of made it a little bit too pay-to-winny, in my opinion.
But again, all this. If you look at Gaijin's other products, all those systems that they implement into those games, like for example the marketplace was, tested out in Crossout. The Battle Pass system was tested out in Cuisine Royale. So there are a lot of things you can take from all of their other developments of what they're trying out in other games before that comes to War Thunder, because they know we hate the game so much. It's quite ironic.
Now, if you just quickly look at the spreadsheet, you'll notice that the T80B is no longer on there. That is because it will be staying at its current 10.0 VR. But however, to compensate for that, Gaijin has decided, here, you know what? I think we should move down all the top-end Russian MBTs to 10.3, just so it can help out the T80B just a little more.
So they're right here.
Not only is the T80U going down, the B3's going down.
I'm not done. In the grand scheme of things, that won't really matter too much. It just peeves me a little bit that not only is the T-72B3 with Gen 2 gunner thermals a lower BR than the M1A2 Abrams,
which has Gen 1 still.
Which has Gen 1, admittedly, both commander and gunner. I mean, having commander thermals
is useful. Yeah. The B3 lacks the better round than the T90 though.
The B3 has more armor.
The B3 is arguably the best protected Soviet MBT in the game, if not the best protected Soviet MBT in the game, because the relic on the sides is actually pretty decent. But I much prefer the T personally.
I believe.
Personally, I prefer the T80U because of the faster reload. You have the same rounds. You have pretty similar mobility, pretty similar armor protection from the front, and you're faster. You have a faster reload.
Yeah.
It's fucking 10-3.
There's a couple
as
more
Soviet
things.
man, I see this as an absolute win.
Shut the fuck up. I main the Soviets too, and this is just retarded.
You have American flags over all your Soviet MBTs. Get the fuck out of here.
He's not an actual Russian. He's a contractor.
I just, on top of that, of just bringing the Russian tanks down to 10-3 for whatever reason they want to, they've also gone ahead and nerfed the Leopard 2A6 and A5, as well as the STRV 122B PLSS and STRV 122A to a slower fire rate from now 10 shots a minute to 9 shots a minute.
Because Gaijin realized that instead of adding a Leopard 2A6 with a 6-second reload spaded and the biggest fucking lull pen in the game, which basically power creeped the Arietis, because the Arietis' whole point was being a glass cannon, and then they added a glass cannon made of fucking titanium glass. Okay? So by the way, to the country that they are literally queued up with, so Italy is running around. Arguably, Germany suffers, so me and Gobnik have to do the armor job for them on these small maps, which is another topic.
Don't even get me started.
Me and Gobnik are sitting there watching 2A6 players complain that they have no armor and no penetration, and they're running around with some of the best armor of a NATO MBT and the best penetration. and it's like, go fuck yourself. So anyways,
and my paper thin Arietis up at the front fighting Russian tanks.
So, in all Gaijin could have Germany's lineup was better than I think people realized, and until they added the 2A6, people were like, okay, yeah, maybe
Absolutely.
it is a bit OP. The 2A4 evolution would have been a better 10.3 in an alternative to the 2A6 because it would have been able to fire DM43, which is a better round, right? And it would have been better armor than a 2A4, but not better armor than a 2A5, arguably. But it would still be a very competitive tank, right? The Swedish, you're in a different pickle because the Swedish armor package that they put on the 122s is what you have in game. Nothing, not even DM53, can pen the SGRV 122s from the front with the additional armor plating that they have. But they have, because Gaijin's amazing penetration and non-shattering tungsten darts that are basically fucking twigs mechanics, you literally can ricochet 3BM42 into the turret ring of the 122s easier than you can with like an Abrams or a Leopard 2. So them getting a reload rate nerf, so where they're now maximum 6.7 seconds, I believe it is kind of warranted for the Swedish. But for the Germans, they didn't really need. I mean, they're all leopards, but they didn't need the 2A6. There was a better alternative. For the Swedish, it was a little harder. But it just goes to show you that they just went too far ahead too quickly, and everyone knew this. I mean, we all enjoyed our fun, but it's just kind of like a we told you so type of moment. And now, because the 2A6 has like a what, according to Spookston, it was like a 78% win rate or something. Whatever the win rate is.
The 2A6 just stomps everything.
You start to get the question of what kind of statistics are they actually using? Because
are they using average player win rate? Are they using
how are
match?
they getting these numbers? And how do the numbers not line up with what we're seeing in games?
Like, to tack on to this, because I've been wanting to talk about this for a while, I've always kind of put off the map discussion. But according to our statistics, most people vote.
You can't say that without laughing.
It's like it's like the esports ready meme. It's just like, oh yes, War Thunder esports ready. But according to Gaijin statistics, most players have upvoted smaller maps and have downvoted bigger maps. It's like, well, why? So new players come to the game. They're like, wow, I'm playing an M3 Stuart on a map that's like 2 kilometers by 2 kilometers. This really fucking blows. Oh, there's a map vote system? Oh, ban these maps? Because, veteran players tell them, ban those maps. Then they buy their top tier premium, say the T72 Terms or like the L44. They're buying premiums that have access to 10.7 matchmaking, right? So they're at top tier. As much as Gaijin says, oh, it's not top tier, it's right below, it's top tier, okay? Factors into the same matchmaking. They've got all these new players that don't know what they're doing, that have now voted for maps to play on in like tiny little World War II tanks, and now they're playing them at top tier. Well, the majority of people at top tier are actually noobs or premium spammers or people that are using their top tier premiums and they're quickly grinding to top tier, and they're kind of flooding the match. They're kind of flooding the matchmaking. So, according to their statistics, everyone likes small maps. But it's like, you can literally, no matter who you are, you don't have to be me, you don't have to be Ash, you don't have to be fucking Fly Daily to go play top tier. If you get a small map, there are more one-and-doners, is the term that I know.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
There are more one-and-doners on a small map or a night battle, which doesn't, what do you call it? Doesn't, fuck, I forget the word. Discern, whatever the word is, between big and small maps. So night battles which probably factor into their matchmaking without even being night, by the way. But you'll see more one-and-doners on a small map than on a big map. You'll see people spawn in multiple times at top tier because it's more enjoyable. It's like, oh wow, we all just got wiped out within one fucking push around a corner. They're going to be at our spawn in 5 seconds. And 10 people just died and they all have a 20-second respawn time. We might as well just quit the game because they're going to be there in milliseconds. It's literally, it's not something that their statistics can show. They just have to go play the game, and they will see it. It's ridiculous. It's right in your face, and it does show that to some extent, some people at Gaijin don't play the game, which makes sense. You know, not everybody's a fucking gamer, even if they work for a company. But I think we've gotten to this point because of mismanagement and mishandling of resources and just a general fatigue, if you will, of game development, which plagues all free-to-play games. And we all knew it was coming. I just didn't think that this shit was going to actually happen like it did. Like, you just put 30, 40 years of technology within the same battle rating spread in both air and ground. You can't make that shit up.
Now, unfortunately for anyone who plays Britain, all of your old 6.7 MBTs are now 7.3. So,
No, 6.7. Then they went to 7.0. Now they're 7.3.
yeah, now they're 7.3. So
In
unfortunately,
the space of 6 months.
So now you're going to face a
wow.
T-55 M1 and a Centurion Mark III. Oh, it's such a joke.
No, it's not all bad. The Cancer Wagon 90 got uptiered to 9.3, which is,
No,
which is
not my
kinda
baby.
good.
No, not my baby.
Oh,
Shut up,
by the
Creamy.
way,
that.
actually, Creamy, I don't care if you're a fucking wereboot. You have to agree.
However,
The TAM2C
that
going up
is
to
something
9.7 was fucking noteworthy because it was using DM63. Kind
Yeah.
of light things,
No,
okay?
hold on.
63
That-
Gen 2 thermals.
Because hold on, Cream, it's not all bad because your Leopard 1 went down to 7.3.
Who gives a fuck about the Leopard 1?
I can't wait to use my leopard against
The
fucking
Leopard 1 has
King
no
Tigers
stabilizer and is
Oh,
boring
and
as
by
fuck
the
to
way,
play.
your T29 now your T25 is now the same battle rating as the Pershing.
No, it's the
For
same.
whatever reason. I guess they're the same tank now? I don't know. But
Hey,
now you have to face a Leopard 1 in a T25.
Plus the M47, it's staying 7.3, remember? Or 7.0,
All these
whatever.
decisions are making my nipples moist. To put that lightly, I'm fucking tired of gush and shit, man. If
Like-
it isn't for the community, it isn't for fucking some other drama thing, man. It's just idiots, you know.
This is the they should just change the battle rating changes to we're buffing Russia, fuck you.
Like, this
No,
is...
I'd
just
be
change
okay.
every vehicle to 1.0.
Yes.
There's
That's
an
a great
argument to be
idea.
had about
Right.
whether or not a 20-tier
Premium
system
Tina.
would work correctly, but they changed the 20-tier system to accommodate for the 5 years of World War II. And now look what we've got.
Oh, you know what's
not-
great? You know what's great? All of the French 4.7 players that love slapping with their fucking under-tiered guns, the M4A4 SA50 is also now 5.0. They're like, no, my 4.7 lineup! Even though the Jumbo was, until recently, with all the battle rating shit shows, was actually pretty good at fucking 5.7. Or 5.0, whatever it was originally, 5.3. So, yeah, that's pretty fucking papega, honestly. The T-25 was the only tank for America that was actually good at 5.7 when they reduced the Tiger and the Panther battle ratings. So you have the T-25, which is an unarmored tall Pershing, basically. Like it's a fucking chonk Pershing with no armor.
All right, I have the game open right now. Let's take a gander at what we have to work with right now.
So you have the T-25 at 6.3. Now you have the Panther F at 5.7, which has the fastest turret traverse, arguably the fastest next to the Panther 2, and has the best reload, and did I already say the best turret traverse, and I think slightly more pen.
I believe it's the Panther A.
Is the G still staying at 6.0?
The G is still staying at 6.0.
Why? What?
Well,
Why?
wait, what the fuck did they do?
The Panther
They-
F.
And then the Yak Panzer 4.5. Oh my god. Oh, okay. So it's not only not 6.7 anymore, it's going to 6.3, which is it's basically just an RU-251 without a turret. And now
Wait.
that's 6.3.
Oh yeah.
Wait, what the
My
fuck?
Jumbo has to face a Yak Panzer 4.5.
The battle rating
That's
changes,
epic.
Prep Cole.
And
The
it's gonna
Panther F
stand
is
out.
The Panther F is 5.7, while the T-25 for America, which is was the only 90 mil equipped tank that could actually handle Tigers and Panthers at 5.7 at range, is now 6.3.
Well, you're actually wrong. You're wrong about the Panther F. Actually, that's the slowest turret traverse out of all of them.
Yeah,
Does have
Panther A has the
slowest search traverse, fastest reload.
Yeah,
So
that's the downside because it's a heavier turret.
Being a 5.7.
It's got an extra 10 millimeters of turret armor.
Yeah, it's where are these changes? I would like to have a look.
Look
at
in
these,
general
actually.
VC in Discord. I posted them for Soviet.
I'll just PM it to him.
So yeah, but the IS-3
Thank you, God.
and the T-25 are less than 1.0 battle rating spread between each other. What the fuck?
Yes. Yes, IS-3 fight T-25. Fair fight.
I'm just saying,
This is-
Steel Armored Warfare's looking really fine right now.
the mid tier of War Thunder is if you were playing tier 6 in World of Tanks and got tier 10.
Ground forces.
If you think about it that way, because most people that play War Thunder were originally World of Tanks players. Think about it that way. Think about your tier 6 tank, whatever it may be in that game, is now playing against a fucking IS-3 or an E100 shit.
That's a tier 8.
I know it's a tier 8 World of Tanks, but World of Tanks is allowed to balance that shit
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, that's pretty cool. They're finally fucking with the Hurry prototype. What's going on?
Oh, they also, by the way, I don't know if you guys noticed this, the Comet and the Challenger are switching positions.
The T-54, 1949, 7.3.
Why is the JPZ going down? Oh my.
Even Prep Cool, one of the most Germany mains on my Discord.
Why is it going down? Please answer me.
Fuck it,
'Cause I
make the
don't get it.
Tiger.
Where
Make
are the
the Tiger
statistics that you're using? I really
Oro.
don't know where they're at, and I want to know what they look like.
It's
Why?
What I reckon got Nick is because it's such a shit fucking tank for its for how you unlock it and it's battle racket. I reckon because no one fucking plays it that the small 5 people who play it and get their shit.
Well, here's the
kicked in,
thing. Here's the
they
thing.
look at the statistics and oh, it's doing bad, so we'll
here's
have to
the thing.
lower it because
So-
5 people want to play it.
In chat, Matthew Kirk just said, I wonder if Gaijin would get more accurate statistics if they got rid of stock APCR. That is $125 trillion percent inflation.
I
Okay.
forgot.
The truth.
If that thing's going down, they need to remove its heat round and get because that's the same 90 mil. What's on
It's on the M46, the M47, the M48,
Yeah.
all that stuff.
So,
just remove its heat round and give it.
so
an
here's
AP
the
round.
thing. Here's the thing. I want to go back to the German M48 for a minute. We discussed the one reason earlier, which was Tiger players having to switch complete metas, basically, because they're used to angling, they're used to driving around slow. Now they're getting into Patton, which is still kind of slow, but you don't angle an American Pershing or Patton. They have no side armor, okay? You can fucking pen through those things, all right? The other problem is that, again, American players are used to playing the Pershing and the prior Pattons to the M48 for America. However, America also had a pretty strong 7.3-7.7 lineup at the time when they added the American M48. So the American M48 had its statistics skewed a little bit after it came out because people were driving around with stock APCR, and it was a new patent. It was a slight, basically you're playing in a slightly less gunned M60, right? And you're using APCR. The German one comes into the game. And the German one is running around with a lineup that has a mouse. You're probably using a Panther 2. You're using a Tiger 105, maybe a Leopard 1. It's playing with a really weird lineup that isn't as consistent as the American one. Because, again, the American one is just patents. It's all the same tank. So it had its time to mess around. But when they added the German M48C later on, because I remember they added it because the M48G was also messed around with because it used to not have a stabilizer. That the German M48 did not have the ability to have its win rate and its KD come back up and be positive enough for it to have that 7.7, 7.3 battle rating that it deserves. It was literally the same tank in a different tech tree with a shittier lineup that screwed it over. And the Gaijin's like, our statistics. And I'm like, I literally just explained to you what happened with the same tank. And I basically just explained to you why they're different. Or why they have different battle ratings. I know. I have to update my Windows, but whatever. But that's my point. It's like, it takes 5 minutes of discussion. And they have an entire Discord devoted to how many content creators are on there. And I don't know how many of them are consistent playing in their experience, but they've got like a couple hundred people that are veterans, that are experienced, that own multiple tech trees, that have played this game for 8 fucking years. You'd think if you had a battle rating thing like this exact sheet that I'm looking at, you think they would have posted that to us before even publicly releasing that and going, hey, what do you think about this? Because it doesn't take 2 days for you to collect feedback on people just going, yes, no, no, maybe so, maybe not, yes, no. Okay?
Well, we're making it clear now. Hopefully we're making it very clear now, and so's the community, that this is fucking awful.
I just said a few days ago.
It needs to go back.
Yeah, I just said a few days ago when they released the first iteration with the slightly not as shitty changes, but still shitty. I was like, are we gonna like ever have a parts and FPE situation again? And they're like, I'm gonna name one name here. Cone said that not everyone can agree, so it's probably not likely gonna happen, which is true to some extent. But you know, like, we still have to agree on something, and I think in this situation, everybody agrees that this is pretty papega, unless you're creamy and you want the Soviets to slap, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But everyone fucking agrees that this is retarded. This is probably the most ridiculous battle rating change ever. So
What is the object?
Yeah, me and Sleepy finally bumped up the Rad Wagon's BR.
Oh, the Yag Tiger for the Russians is going up in battle rating. Okay.
You mean the SU-100Y?
No, Object 268.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I had a brain fart there. Where is that?
Basically,
I
a
see
Russian. Yeah, it's going to 7-0.
Yeah. So I have one last thing I wanna go on to before we call this quits here.
Going down in battle rating again.
Let me just refresh this. So I made a poll earlier. I don't know how many of you actually saw this, but I made a poll, and it was: would you consider, after these proposed battle rating changes, boycotting War Thunder if this new set of proposed changes goes live? So we have 118 votes right now. 52% say yes, 21% say no, and 27% say maybe. When I wish I could edit this post, so I actually did pin a comment. I should have made it a little bit more clear, but when I mean boycotting War Thunder, I mean like just not buying premium, not buying Golden Eagles. You can still play the game, because we all agree, we all have invested hours. I probably have, even though I haven't had it on Steam in years, I probably have 6,000 hours possibly on War Thunder, or maybe even 7,000. I don't know. So
you have way more than that. You probably have about 10.
Probably.
I'm ashamed of the amount of time I've spent on this game.
But we all have thousands upon thousands of hours in this game. There's a lot of vehicles in this. You know, it's not about not playing War Thunder. It's about not feeding the beast that they know works. They know their cash cow is generating hype, buying premiums, starving people of SL, making them buy premium, making them buy GE. You know, the marketplace was just a whole another level. So, I mean, I would like to see more of you vote in this poll. I know we only have like 50 people watching right now, but I'd like to see more people vote in this poll. If you can share this poll, I would like to actually get a pretty decent idea. Training Days, who's a pretty new to the algorithms content creator who's blown up recently because of all of his funny ass memes, just released a video a couple days ago where he had a bunch of polls and he had like thousands of people vote. So no one's asked this question yet, but I want to know: would you boycott War Thunder? Would you be willing to not spend money on the game? You can still play it. You can still play in custom battles. You can still play normal battles. but would you be willing to not spend another dime on this game? Because I think, and it's worked before in history, if you cut off the cash cow, they will end up doing something. You know, look at Battlefield 5. That game was such a train wreck, people stopped buying it, and all of a sudden they started changing the tune afterwards. So, but yeah, I'm just curious.
I want to say one last thing. When Arrowbane and I were discussing the new battle rating changes, and he said this very eye-opening thing to me. He said, "I didn't remove that $20 from your wallet. I removed that wallet from your $20." which was basically what they did with the M48. They couldn't down tier the M48, so they just up tiered everything up to face the M48. So I thought that was just fantastic, and I had to get that out there because he isn't here to say it himself, so I had to say it for him.
He's got the big school.
Yeah, he's got to expand his brain so he can come back with some more big brain comments.
Yeah. Actually, one more thing I forgot to mention. I think was it Arrow that said it. In one of the Discord. No, in the Discord chats. What's the marketplace looking like right now? Because if the prices of a lot of the vehicles and stuff in the marketplace in War Thunder drop, that could be like an indication that a lot of people are going to start leaving. I guess I forget who said it. I forget exactly what was said, but something to that extent. Yeah. Oh, hi Moose, you're here now. He snuck in.
Yes, I am here.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
So when do these changes?
From what I've seen, some of the prices have picked up just a little bit, just in preparation for like the new BRs and whatnot. But other than that, nothing too crazy.
Yeah.
So when did the new BRs come out?
We don't know. It was rumored
Hopefully
Friday,
never.
But yeah, hopefully never.
Hopefully they go back and maybe do some more number fixing because this is just ridiculous. But given it's Gaijin, it probably won't be happening. So don't get your hopes up.
Okay, because I'm just looking at this and like some of it's just like what the fuck, like the Centurion Mark One going up. That's just ruining more of the British 5.7 line. What no longer exists.
This battle rating thing, Practical, was basically everything that got power creeped is going up, and everything that is power creep is going down. And I think everyone sees that.
I can kind of see you wouldn't know unless you played the fucking thing, but the Panther F is a shit tank for its battle range, just because you're in that weird bracket of 6-0 gets 6-7, and you never really get a down tier, but when you do get a down tier, the thing just kicks everything's ass. So I can kind of see what they've done with that, but it's just like, even for the Panther F going down, it's just like, what the fuck? Because it is the last Panther they made. It is pretty much on par with the fucking Panther 2, except for like gun velocity and the gun itself.
I don't know.
But like the rest of it's just like, why? The Ho-Ri, that thing's needed to go up since they fucking added the damn thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Will I be playing War Thunder a lot now? Probably not. I think I'm taking a fucking hiatus until if this shit. So if this battle rating change goes into effect in War Thunder, and pretty much 80% of these battle rating changes are not reversed, or the battle rating does not increase, I am 100% going to not spend a dime on War Thunder, and I might even install it. In fact, I have a little story I want to share with you all that had a game almost actually make me uninstall War Thunder a few days ago. So I was playing top tier Sweden with the 122s.
That was your first mistake.
I got a night battle on Maginot. Okay, I was with Germany and Germany alone. My team was stacked with Leopard 2A5s, 2A6s, and some 2A4s, and a couple of Tiger UHTs. We had a full fucking, what is the max lobby size, 16 or whatever, 12? I don't know what it is.
15, I believe.
15? We had a 15-man team. The enemy team was down by 4 fucking players. 4 players. It is Conquest in the city on Maginot, as top tier Germany, I am the only Swedish player on the team. I'm the only other tank that isn't in the German tech tree. Okay? On the team. My team ran up to the cap, didn't cap, lost about 70% of our tickets, took the cap, nearly drained them of tickets. They had about 5,000 tickets. Our team decided to go rush their spawn, die. 70 to 80% of my team one and done. And we nearly lost. It took me and a CV90, a Leopard 2A4, a Leopard 2K, and a Tiger UHT to carry that team back. And I was so, honest to God, flabbergasted. The Germans were complaining about the KA-50s, even though they just got the best fucking salmon game. They were complaining about the fucking T-80 and not having any armor and this, that, and the other thing. And they all fucking won and done. Yet they had a 4 fucking player advantage, which I have not seen at top tier in a long ass time, if ever. And they nearly choked it. And I was like, there is nothing you can do to help the German main player base when they can be that papega. I'm not saying other main countries don't do the same thing, but I was like, there is no fucking way you can help people. There's no way you're going to help people get better at the
M47.
M47.
There are no main German players left. Anyone who played main to Germany moved on. All the people playing Germany are part-timers.
But they go back to it during the events.
Yeah, that's
why their fucking win rates go through their goddamn roof every time.
Yeah.
I know several people that still play Germany.
So
as their main nation.
But that's my point. Is I was like, I'm like, if my team loses this, they are literally a couple hundred tickets away. I'm like, if my teammates just fucking die or just J out and give up, because it's, I understand it was a night battle, but the amount of one and dunning from 2A6s and 2A5s, I'm like, if you have a 2A6 and you left after your first death, you're an asshole, because you most definitely have a 2A5 or a 2A4 with night vision on it or something, right? Like, there's no way. I was that close. If my team lost that game, I would have uninstalled War Thunder, and you never would have seen a video on this channel ever again of War Thunder, because it is so fucking... It's just... I've, like, given up. I've played it for 8 years, and I'm like, you know what? It's never going to change unless you cut off the money train. It's just not. But yeah, there's my little fucking story, my little rant for today with that shit. That almost made me I have never in the 8 years I've played War Thunder wanted to uninstall from the first match that I've played in a match ever. I've never gotten that angry in one match and been like, I want to uninstall ever in 8 years. It's just ridiculous, but I don't know. I don't think I'm going to be doing much War Thunder content. I'm going to keep up the CDK tutorial for those of you that still want to make fun missions. I'm still going to play War Thunder. I'm just not buying. I'm not paying a dime. I'm just going to mess around with custom battles.
That's a filthy fucking lie. Watch, the lead something you be like, I really want that.
I'm going to really want it, and then I'm going to go spend it on a different game or not spend it at all. So
I joined this podcast on the assumption that you didn't even discuss the fact that you were going to boycott War Thunder. That wasn't in that's not what I didn't sign the dotted line for that. I don't agree with boycotting War Thunder. That has never worked in the entirety of the history of the game. Other creators have tried. Many creators bigger than you and older than you. No, it doesn't work. Gaijin just ignores. That's what they do. They'll just ignore and they'll go do their own thing. If you're going to quit the game, just quit the game, right? That's all I have to say on the offer.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm going to try, though. Personally, I'm going to try and do it for my own sanity. Because, again, I've spent a lot of time on this game, but I know not everyone's going to agree, but I think if people just kind of understood, like, I think it's time. I think it could happen. I think it could work. I don't know. I think there's too much autism. And I say that not in literal autism. I just mean there's just too much bullshit. It's too much. So, I don't know. I'm going to go play Armored Warfare, which, even though it's been dead for years, is much, much more of a change of pace and is more entertaining. So, that's what I'm going to be doing. I'll be doing DCS content, maybe some real-time strategy content. I'll be doing Stalker, stuff like that. But that's it from me today. If you guys have any last-minute things you want to say, go for it. We can go on for like maybe like 20 more minutes. I don't care if you guys have something to say, but go right ahead.
I'm offering free F-16 lessons in DCS because fuck this game. I'm not.
Yeah.
It's just giving me another excuse not to come back for a little more. I think I'm quite enjoying DCS at the moment. If you're looking for something else to play, not sponsored by Eagle Dynamics or anything. If you're looking for something else to play, go play DCS. That is a much better experience than what it is right now.
I approve this message.
If you're sick and tired of sparrows going full retard in War Thunder, go to DCS. They work. They work. Oh my
Can't
god.
guarantee you'll get a bandit with them, but no harm in trying, I guess.
What?
I don't know. Ash, do you have anything else to put in?
No, mate. No, mate.
No.
I don't got anything.
I'll say
Bye,
this
Russian.
real quick.
I think it's time to just put the cone
I
over
would,
the head.
but you kind of threw a curveball, and it's not that I don't agree with you. It's just I know that tactic doesn't necessarily work.
the war of attrition is not really a good option.
Well then, what should we do?
I
Just
don't
let it
know.
sli-
Make a new game.
Just let it slowly die.
Make a
Basically.
new game.
Basically,
I
just
don't know.
what you should do is just say, oh, okay, I'm stopping content, therefore, there won't be any War Thunder content. If you want War Thunder content, go to other people, and those other people will just whatever, or you can explain your reasons why, whatever. For me, it's been the same shit over and over again for continuously since I don't know, since about 2015, after first beta the tanks came out. The game really hasn't developed aside from adding new shinies continuously, and that's their business model. But at what point, at what cost? You play the same old game for 8 years straight. It's not really that entertaining in all its hindsight. There's no incentive for you to go play Tier 1, is there? Unless you like seal clubbing. There's
Unless you're one of those people.
unless you're focused on a grind, there is no real point for you to play War Thunder. There's not, and I don't recommend it to new people. That's how extreme it's got.
They also haven't done anything to develop the game either. Like, it's always just cap the magic circles. There's no anything new. There's nothing interesting. It's just, we're just gonna.
There used to be a D point that you could go cap for like a major ticket loss for the other team, but they took that out in a heartbeat.
That break didn't work at the time because the maps were tiny as fuck. Break would work so much better on the bigger maps that we have now. Guarantee you, it would fucking work for
It'd
like
be
World War II
cool
vehicles.
to see something like you know how Battlefield has like the 6 or 7, it's like 6 caps.
Yeah,
Conquest.
something like that.
Yeah,
mean the normal
Conquest, something like that. With like you got one here, and then you.
But from
fight
what
for the middle,
from what John
something like
told
that.
me, from what John told me, the reason why they haven't gone to hosting bigger lobbies and bigger maps as much as they could, like I know we have EC and stuff, is because their hardware that they're using to run their servers off of and stuff is all old and outdated. Like they're using a lot of older shit. And if they got their hands on some better hardware to both develop the game and maintain it, with servers and shit, it might be better. I'm waiting on Rydar
Maybe they
2
should
to make
use
a
that
KPC,
KA50 money to fucking upgrade their servers.
It really makes you think. Where did that $1.2 million they made off the T-72 go?
money.
K50 part.
Oh yeah.
Some of those other projects.
I pre-ordered that again. In a
You know what?
That's
That's
or the rumored
that's
number was the total they got from New Power. So 1.7 mil, employees, wages and things, infrastructure. Obviously, they built a new office in Germany. So who knows? But the thing is,
all
they're
went
milking us
into that
for
new
every
ga-
cent.
It
Yeah.
all went into that new game they're making. All went into Enlisted, and they're not even making it. They're just publishing it.
Well, I know for one thing. I don't want to. I'm going to piss off everybody that's in this Discord and is in chat right now. I would much rather go play World of Warplanes right now than War Thunder Air RB.
Right. I
Honestly.
think my time is done. Thank you. See you later.
Yeah, I'll get going as well.
Oh man.
Damn, time to
All right.
cancel Steel.
But yeah, okay. I'm gonna go play some Armored Warfare now. I'm gonna make a fucking clan in Armored Warfare. If you're on the Discord, I'm gonna make a new channel for Armored Warfare because it's very
Yes, let's go.
relaxing. So
Let's go.
I saw all the crap you have.
Yep.
Like, Jesus
I
Christ.
can just do that right now.
I played it for years,
Let's
buddy.
go.
All right.
Jesus, I'm only in tier 6. Big sad.
Yeah.
Damn,
Alright.
only if I actually installed Armored Warfare.
You better.
Hell,
Better
if
son of a
fucking
bitch.
Steel's like, yeah, just give Armored Warfare a shot. I'm just like,
I'm telling you, man. You're gonna.
hey,
You're
I'm
going.
enjoying it. I'm already
It's
at tier
actually
4
not
Israel,
bad. It's
tier
not
4
bad.
Russia.
You're going to melt into your chair, and you're gonna be like, finally, I'm not on a White Rock
It's-
Fortress in a wheeled vehicle going 5 millimeters per every 10 hours. Oh my god. All right, that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for listening in. Again, Ash did actually leave. Wow, World of Warplane scared him away. Told you.
Yeah, he was not happy with World of Warplanes.
All right, take care, everyone. Vote in the poll. I just want to see. You don't have to, but I'm just curious what people's feelings
What's
are.
the
So
poll? What?
it's on the community page.
If you should boycott them or not. I said no. I'm like, I like Gaijin.
Because you're
Yeah, because they give your fucking. All right, fuck you. All right, everybody. See ya. Take care.
Make Russia great again.